Ready? Good afternoon, Daniel. I wonder if you could start with an update on the team news. I mean, how is the squad fitness-wise ahead of the game tomorrow?
Yes, all players who were in contention in the last game are also available for the next game. Some good news, some progress with Willy Nyonto. He has not joined us in team training so far. We have this afternoon also a session. We tried to bring him the first time back into team training. He was sadly out for the last more or less 12 days. So it's a question mark if he's really available for the game. We'll make a late decision. Definitely not for the starting lineup. He could perhaps become a topic for the squad, but I expect him then latest to be back also for the FA Cup game on Saturday. So some good news with him. Pretty soon he will be back in the squad. Yes, apart from this, no other news. Pascal Stoik still out. That's it.
The weather's been pretty horrible lately. Have you had any issues with the storm?
No, it's always a bit tricky when it's so windy to be there really tidy and accurate in training and your passing, and also it annoys a bit during the session, but no complaints. So it's more like, yes, we wanted to work pretty focused, and for that, no complaints.
It's the first time we've spoken to you since Mato Joseph has signed his new contract following in the footsteps of Archie Gray. How pleased are you to tie him down?
Yes, also from my side, officially congratulations to Matteo. Pretty good news for him and for us as well. So it's a bit a sign of also what we want to build here. We knew that we had many good years, but the last couple of years were also difficult, and we're trying also to build something new. And the long-term contracts for some of our young players are also a sign of what we want to achieve. We gave, for example, Ethan Ampadu already on the way to develop a long-term contract. Archie Gray, 17-year-old boy, long-term contract. Mato Joseph, a long-term contract, because we believe these type of guys will be the future of Leeds United. So we also love to have players in the squad who haven't achieved their peak in their career yet, but we want to work more with players who are running up the hill rather than down the hill. So this is more like we want players with potential. We want to develop them. Obviously, you also need experience in order to give them a surrounding where they can grow and can develop, but that you have this high potential players in your squad is also quite crucial, and the players, we are 100% convinced that they will play a major role also for us. We are highly motivated to keep them and to tie them to long-term contracts, either to use them for us or to sometimes also to create value for them from the business point of view. But with Matteo, for example, it's 100% that we are convinced that he has lots of potential, and we are all happy that he signed a long-term contract.
I guess Willy Nyonto also fits in that bracket of a player running up the hill. Will he be next to sign a new deal?
So we will just speak about business once business is done. But you can be assured that we want to keep our best players, our players with the highest potential. And I spoke also about what our target is. It's not like we just sign 18 years old or extend contract of 19-year-olds. It's not the only topic, but it's definitely one of our main areas when we have players where we are convinced, okay, they have the potential and the quality and also the character to help us build something new here at Leeds United. Then we are highly motivated and tempted to do something, but we will just speak about business once business is done.
Well, what about potential business in January? I know you've said before it's a difficult month, but how likely are you right now, do you feel, to be able to bring someone in before the window closes?
Same topic. We just speak about business once business is done. Everyone is aware that we have perhaps a few positions where we could also do some additions, because we are not training at the moment with too many numbers, and it's a pretty small and tight group. But the advantage of a tight group is that also everyone is needed, and sometimes it's even beneficial for the spirit and for the unity. This is what you sense at the moment. So for that, we won't fall asleep. We know that there are perhaps also one or two areas where we could strengthen the squad, but we are rather a bit more careful also to bring the right character in, because we don't want to risk our spirit and our unity and our togetherness also in the dressing room. So it has to be the full package. A player who is obviously there with potential, a player who is affordable. We are also ambitious as a club, but there are also strict rules and what we can do from the financial point of view and what not. But also his personality and his character has to fit to the group and has to fit even more to Leeds United. And if we find the whole package and also in the right position, then we would also do something. Yes.
And does the upturn in form in January, does that make it less of a priority to bring someone in, do you feel?
No, because upturn and downturn in form and momentum is pretty quick in this league. We were convinced before, so we had also were the best team in November, for example, and we were also convinced of this. And just because we lost 1 or 2 games, and then after that, it doesn't change our belief and our support to the players that we have. What has changed a little bit, we have more or less we are on the fullback position because of the decisions with Luke Ayling and Jet Spence, 2 players. We let them go, so it's more like we are more or less in comparison to the first half of the season on this position, 2 players short. We have the topic with Charlie Crespel, and we have also the topic right now with Pascal Struijk. We will assess him also over the next days pretty carefully what happens. So hopefully he can return soon. Then it would also ease up a bit on the centre back position our situation. But we have to wait what the next days will bring, because actually we were hoping that he would return after light problem pretty soon, but meanwhile he's also out since 4.5 weeks, and we can't be naive. We also have to assess each and every day what happens on this position, so we know exactly also in which areas we perhaps have to stay awake and have to strengthen the squad a little bit, but it stays also the same. We are pretty careful, and if we sign a player, then definitely it has to be the full package.
And just finally then, you're coming up against your former club Norwich. Is this a special fixture for you personally?
Yes, obviously I was there for more than 4 years and had great memories, and I will always be grateful also to this club, and this club will always have a special place also in my heart. That's quite normal. It was a bit more emotional because it was my first return to Carrow Road a few months ago. Meanwhile, this topic is also done. It's more or less for us more like, we have another home game, and we want also to make sure that we stay further on unbeaten and want to add the next points under our tally. It will be nice to see some familiar faces, and it's a well-run club and great people at the helm of the club with Delia, Michael. It's always a pleasure to be able to see some familiar face. I'm not sure if there is time on the game day to say hello or not. So because we are more concentrated really on the game, and for that, yes, a bit special, but it's not about me. It's just about us to win all the 3 points, and this is my only topic at the moment.
Daniel, just going back to sort of the window, everybody wants to see players come in, I get that, but how much pressure, how much interest, or how many offers have sort of come in for your key players that you're hoping to keep? Has there been a lot of interest, and are you having to fight off those offers?
Yes, this football world is crazy, and especially once the window was opened on the 1st of January after a few months of having a closed window. Especially the agent and everyone who's connected are overexcited, and they are happy that they are allowed to use their mobile again and try to give you calls and send you emails and whatever. But it was also important that we sent also pretty clear the message now. Listen, we are ambitious. We want to keep our best players, and we are not tempted at all to become weaker as a squad. So definitely we will keep our key players, and for that we sent this message out. Sometimes once is not enough, so you have to send this message out quite often, and have to reply more often. But the more often you reply, no, there's no interest to send someone away or to earn some money, then at some point everyone gets the message. I know the last days are always then the last chance, and we'll try it again. But we were quite firm in our stance, and we will stay firm, so no one of our key players will leave.
And on this game, obviously you've added another game into January by bringing it forward. Was the thinking between you and obviously Norwich that it's a chance to get points in the bag rather than kick a game into the long grass and have a fixture pile up come March or April?
Yes, the situation is always once you go into the next round of the FA Cup, then it's also like not that easy to find then the perfect time for the fixture to rearrange it. But we also got the feeling, come on, we are also used to play all 3 days. And right now, after home game, this turnaround from Sunday till Wednesday, Sunday early kickoff, Wednesday evening, late kickoff is more than 80 hours. We have 3 proper nights with proper sleep, no traveling. It doesn't affect us. So we are fully recreated. It's not like we play with less energy like in the last game. It's not a problem at all. And it was also a perfect time for Norwich. And for that, I think it's the best way to choose it instead of thinking about, okay, we have a game in hand and in our heads we have already 1 or 2, 3 points more. The best thing is always, come on, to get this game out of the way as quick as possible. And at the moment, obviously we have the situation with Willy Gnonto and Pascal Sturek, but to be honest, to have just 2 players in the whole squad not available is a pretty comfortable situation, because sometimes you have suspensions or injuries or illnesses anyhow. So I think for us it's at least a good moment to play this game. Sadly, it's never a guarantee that's also successful, but the earlier you have this type of fixtures away, because the next months will also be busy, the better it is. And the turnaround then for the Saturday game is a bit soon, but it's then the FA Cup. I think will rotate then perhaps even a bit more. But our energy level for this league game is not affected at all. So there is no excuse that there's a quick turnaround or something like this. So from Sunday early kickoff till Wednesday evening, it's not a problem at all. We at least theoretically we should be 100% ready.
And you referred to the game against Preston as sort of season-defining moment. This one, do you see as absolutely pivotal, if you win it, to getting that next part of your scale that you were going up in 1, 2, 3, 4, getting to the playoffs? Do you see it vital in that?
It has the same importance like all the games. Each and every game is a chance to add 1 or 3 points, and obviously we are always greedy and go into each and every game. We want to win this game. We want to win the 3 points. And if there comes a game along that you can't win, then we want to make sure that we don't lose it and gain at least 1 point. So obviously we are highly motivated. We know that we are, especially in home games, there with great point tally, and obviously each and every win is important, because if you want to finish in a really good position come next May, you know that you need a proper point tally, and for that, just with the points that we have, there's no chance to finish in the top 6 or perhaps even higher. So for that, we need to add points, and this is another opportunity tomorrow. Yes.
Hi, Daniel. One of your predecessors told us in the recent past that as a manager, he didn't want to know about player contracts and who was coming up to the end and who might be getting a new deal. What about you? Do you like to have involvement in that?
Well, if you want to work as a manager on this level and also show leadership in terms of who should come in and perhaps also leaves us, it also makes sense that you know a little bit about the contracts. That's definitely for sure, because I'm also more or less like the key how we want to build the squad. So for that you have to be involved. But I would 100% agree in these terms. Then when it comes down to decisions who plays or who is perhaps on the bench or not in the squad, that it doesn't matter. So for me, it's of course important who we sign and also what we do in terms of contract, and that we are always in the driver's seat as a club. It's a main topic for myself. And also how we build the club. So for that, it's quite important. But when it comes down to the decision who plays, then it's just important for me what happens in training and what happens in the games. So names or salary or transfer fees or other things or exit clauses or contracts are then not important at all. I think if he meant it in this sense, then definitely it's the right call. But in terms of how to build the club and who to bring in, which character and which type of player, that the player also suits our football and suits our values and suits what we're all about at Leeds United. I think in these terms you have to know also a little bit. I don't need to know each and every detail, and I'm not too interested about the whatever weekly salary or if it's £5 higher or lower. Nowadays, it's quite often higher. So it's more or less like this is not important for me, but important to build the squad. Believe me, I'm pretty much involved.
We see and hear a lot about and a lot from the likes of Jorginho, quite extrovert characters. Can you tell us a bit about Ilia Gruev and what he's like and what he's been like as he's been waiting for his chance this season?
Well, more than the talking is really the pitch, and I think you could sense which type of character Ilia is when you watch him playing, because when he's on the pitch, no one on the whole pitch, not from us, from our team, but also not from the opponent's team, covers more distance than Ilia. He's always solid, always reliable, plays in possession with very rare mistakes, is good on the ball, disciplined, professional, top work ethic, and if you are like this on the pitch, you could also imagine that he's also off the pitch exactly like this. So from the first day he walked in, he was humble, modest, down to earth, hardworking, and also patient. He waited for his chance, but he was always more or less the first one in, the last one out on the training pitch. Did additional work, was always interested with our sport science, how he could add perhaps a bit more strength to his body. He's always aware what happens, how he can improve his nutrition in all like this. So he's one of the most professional players I've ever worked with, and I knew it before because we were pretty sure which character we would sign, and we know also that in his position he needs also a bit patience, and he needs to develop a bit because we have also lots of competition in this areas with Ethan Ampadu, with Glenn Kamara, with Archie Gray, also with some other players. So, but we thought he would be a perfect addition for us, and I think you saw him also growing more or less from day to day in training, and just due to the quality of our other midfield players, he had to stay patient and had to stay on it. And I was sure, so when I unleash him, he would repay my trust. And what he's done in the recent games, I can't praise him enough for this, because I think he is also quite crucial that we are there with such a perfect January so far. But the same like for all the other players, he has to keep going. So it's not like after 2-3 great games, it's a finished end product. He has to improve further on. He has to work further on, and to speak about the quality player just allowed after a proper year, many months, not just after a few weeks. But he's definitely on the right path, and we're all happy that we have.
Hi Daniel, you haven't dropped points many times this season because of the great position you're in, but there has been a bit of a trend with those tight turnarounds, like the Wednesdays and the Tuesdays nights. Have you seen a trend in why that might be, and whether you can improve that on this occasion?
No, not that much. I think it's just the nature a bit of this league. So sometimes when you have a quick turnaround, and we had periods when we had to play 3 games within 6 days, and then there was 2 away games with lots of traveling, and you're coming back home in the middle of the night at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, so you don't have a proper sleep. It's always a bit tricky, but this is also what this league is all about. And I think if you analyze more or less like the seasons of each and every team, you will see sometimes a dip, especially in this period. It's always a bit easier when you can concentrate more or less with 100% on one game, but I judged more or less the last game a bit different. I was wondering why we started a bit so slow and not in the first 20 minutes against Preston, and had in the beginning, if I'm honest, no explanation, because we had a normal training week, we had a really good training week, also the mood, the spirit was top class, and my only explanation was more or less we knew about the importance of the game and had also many reasons why we were highly motivated. But if I'm honest, we didn't start really on the front foot against Preston, and this is also where we were a bit self-critical. And my only explanation was perhaps we are more or less used to play all 3 days. Perhaps this turnaround from the last game to have 8 or 9 days in between was a bit too long. So yes, sometimes when you have lots of traveling and face bit complicated opponents, and then also on the road you have sometimes decision against you that is hard to accept. It could be tricky, but I'm not sure if it's really a trend. I think this time around it shouldn't affect our game against Norwich at all, because we had 3 proper nights. We have 80 hours in between the games, so it's definitely not an excuse or something what we would use after the game if it doesn't work in the right way against Norwich.
You mentioned character with transfers and bringing in the right kinds of character for the dressing room. I know you won't want to say too much about Jed Spence, but has that experience made you more cautious about the type of characters you bring in?
No, more or less experience during my playing times, but also during the early years in my coaching career, because I know that it's always important to have a group where everyone is on the same page. There are different type of human beings, and this is also important. So we have also pretty different types in our group. Obviously, Jorginho Rutter is also completely different human being in comparison to whatever Liam Cooper, for example. And this is also necessary, and Ilia Gruev is also completely different to Chris Summerville. But to make sure that also with this different type of characters, you still share the same values and you still go into the same direction and have a good energy in the group. This is always important. This is also why I'm so never reluctant, but also so on it, also to check always the personality and also the character of players. And overall, it's never a guarantee that it always pays off. So sometimes also you need a bit of luck in terms of injuries. And I'll be honest, I also like and love to work with difficult characters and pretty special players. I would also say that we have in our group of players some human beings where perhaps in earlier years some would have mentioned, okay, it's not so easy to lead them, or also in my former clubs, when I think about Borussia Mönchengladbach or Norwich, for example, with also players where you would say it's not like, okay, he's the most disciplined guy who is always on it. I think to have this special players and type of players, it's also important that you make sure that you use their creativity and their individualism and their being special for the group. I think it's important. If you want to achieve something special, you need this type of players. You just have to make sure that there is still a solid base. And just with 20 crazy magicians, it's not possible to win a title or to be successful in the league. You always need to find a good mix and to find a good balance. And when you got the feeling, okay, there are perhaps too many disciplined players and something special is missing, then you have to sign this something special, or the other way around. If you've got the feeling, okay, there are perhaps a bit too many players who are living their creativity and living their individualism, then you have to sign or concentrate a bit more on bringing disciplined, professional, serious players on the pitch. So a good balance is always important.
Given what you said about Ilia there, how tempted are you to keep Ethan Ampadu at centre-back, irrespective of who else is available? Is the Rodon-Ampadu partnership a stopgap in your eyes, or do you think it's something that could potentially be there for longer?
It could potentially, yes, of course. It's always the momentum and also what you think always changes, and it's always relies on what happens in the games, and also what happens on the training pitch. So I've never worked as a manager that I have in the beginning of the season my starting 11 in the best position just already in my head, and you have players where you think, okay, they will sit for the whole season on the bench, or are just number 22 and just come in when someone is injured. So it's more like just a backup. I want to create an environment where everyone, if he performs, has a chance also to step up and to fulfill a new role. And although I think Ethan was crucial and also important in the deep six role, it doesn't say that if someone comes along and use the position in a top class way, that Ethan will play Eastern every day, game day there, or the other way around. Just because someone delivers on the centre-back position in a perfect way doesn't mean that he's on the team sheet, the first one and can take this for granted. If someone comes along who is delivering top class performances, then he has the chance to do this as well. So I was pleased that in the last games this relationship was quite good, but it's also definitely a good feeling to have Liam Cooper back in training and also back available, and also as a good centre back option back, because we need this. I also hope that Pascal Stoic will return pretty soon. So because the momentum can change quick, there are illnesses, injuries, but for me it's never cemented that a player is just playing in just one position. But I also know in which positions my player can shine best, and I'm a big friend to play players not too much out of their position, but also like in the best position where they can shine most.
Daniel, just talking of the mix that you just talked about there, do you feel you have the perfect mix of the magicians, the hard workers, the spirited players? Do you think you have that in this team now?
Well, to achieve perfectness is sadly not possible in this business, because it always depends on the game. Yeah? After a great run of form with just wins, you say, yes, we've got the perfect mix. And then there comes the next setback, and you think, oh, we need more creativity, or you think, oh, we need more professional workers. So it's you have to prove each and every game day that you have the perfect mix. But if I have to judge our group in total, at least in a theoretical way, we have a really good base to work with, and I think also pretty good blend. That is sadly not the guarantee that you will find for each and every game the perfect mix in order to win it. But in general, I would say we have a pretty good group together, yes.
And the way you're playing at the moment, last night's draw was obviously good because both teams didn't get away. But do you feel that when Leeds win, because they're always talking about you and worried about you coming up there, do you feel it's better to put the pressure on them and they fear that you're coming, the top two?
To be honest, I'm not so interested in this psychological games, and we're not playing games in order to put pressure on someone, or we ease pressure if we are not successful. We know we have the pressure that we are greedy to win each and every game day, and this is our only topic. So no one in the table, no one around puts pressure on us. The biggest pressure that we have is that we are always highly motivated to win a game of football. This is how I judge it, and I also don't believe that with a good or with a poor result you whatever, especially not on this stage of the season, you put pressure on someone else. It's just about like we want to win points. We want to finish in the best possible position, and for that we need as many points as possible, and for that we need as many top class performances as possible. And this is more or less our way. We concentrate on bringing a top performance on the pitch. We are concentrated on grinding out results and let the table take care of for themselves, because I can't influence what happens in the game yesterday, what happens in the game tomorrow, or what other teams are doing. I know we are on a top class run at the moment, yes, and we want to keep going exactly in this way.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Very much, Daniel.